Hi, I'm Charles with AniCap. Previously, a boy named Wang was born with unimaginable power and decided to hide his power forever. His parents then give him an amulet and a pill to suppress his power. Wang would then use the tiniest bit of power during a test that wouldn't be able to measure his strength, but it still would put him at the top of the leaderboard. Wang's amulet is on the verge of breaking when he is confronted by the leader of the Shadow faction at a competition between schools. The story continues after the Shadow faction leader has captured both Bufang and Wang. They are bound by her immortal binding ropes and are left under the watch of an old man. She taunts Wang for being important to Sunro but has no clue that she is messing with an extremely dangerous spiritual force bomb. If Wang's amulet breaks, his negative energy will be released and the whole world will be destroyed. She continues to mock him for having such a low force value. Wang's sword spirit named Jinkei warns him that his amulet has lost its effectiveness and it is up to Wang now to control his emotions so his power doesn't go out of control. The woman wants Wang to lower his head in defeat, but he doesn't, seemingly becoming enraged. However, Jinkei reminds him of a huge sale on crispy noodles that day and he snaps out of it. The woman is pleased and takes the hair removed from Bufang's head to proceed with her plan. Nearby, Ms. Pan points out how troublesome Ms. Yi's students are, and Ms. Yi retorts that the students she brought are still better than bringing a dog. The shadow leader arrives disguised as Bufang to explain that Wang has been captured. The old man sedates Bufang and assures him that they will be set free once Sunro is killed. Bufang attempts to convince the old man to free him, but it's useless as the old man explains that his leader is the only person able to handle the immortal binding rope. Bufang's temper surfaces again and he inquires about Shadow faction members being ranked using numbers. He mockingly assumes the old man must have an incredibly high number, but the old man reveals that he is only the leader's driver and has no number. Bufang continues to mock him, but the old man proves to have a temper as well when he unleashes an attack. It is only a warning, but the old man shows a bit of his strength and it's clear he is trying to hide it. Fake Bufang tells the fake story of Wang's capture and feels good when Yi uses the leader's attractiveness to describe her. With this information, Yi is certain that the Shadow faction leader is responsible, and we finally learn that her name is Lu Yin. Bei uses her abilities to detect Wang's location, and Sunro's guards decide to take Sunro home. The Shadow faction is targeting her and she will be safer elsewhere. Sunro refuses though and explains that the people of her family have never been cowards. The school's honor doesn't matter to her and neither does the competition. The only thing important now is that they rescue their friend. The lead guard realizes that she had grown up so fast and now decides to follow her orders. While the old man is distracted, Bufang reveals to Wang that he knows he must be hiding some kind of power. He realized it when Wang restored Chen's severed arm. Wang is fast asleep though, only waking when called by Jinkei, and it's clear that Wang can finally relax now that he doesn't have to participate in the competition. The old man approaches, causing Bufang to cry for help, but it proves useless when the old man demonstrates his strength once again. Wang's friends arrive and the students from District 59 observe, while also noticing how strange Bufang is acting. The old man is even more powerful than he showed earlier, as he devastates the entire rescue crew with an attack using small berries from his drink. He runs out of berries, forcing him to reveal his next fearsome ability, and apologizes for having to end the fight in such a brutal way. Sunro defends the guards under attack and surprises the old man with strength of her own. Outside, Wang's father is denied entry at such a dangerous time and can only wonder what is happening inside Faction 59. The old man compares Sunro to the Shadow faction leader when they were the same age, but explains that Lu Yin was much stronger. Sunro does her best to hold back his attack, but can hardly maintain the ability to fly, and eventually succumbs to the immense strength of the fierce old man. However, we see that Wang never allowed any of this to happen, as we go back in time to just before his friends arrive. Now instead of arriving to find Wang captured, Sunro sees that the old man is the one being hoisted on the cross. It's clear that Wang defeated the immensely powerful old man, but has once again implanted a memory in Yi's mind that makes him think that he was the one that did it. The disguised Lu Yin is enraged once more after seeing her plan fail, and Tang points out how suspicious of a reaction that is. Up above, Wang pretends not to know anything about the hole nearby, and tells Jinkei to keep Bufang from leaving that room. Jinkei is Wang's sword spirit, and he explains that Wang won't be able to participate in the sword competition without him. Wang isn't concerned in the slightest, since the purpose of keeping Bufang in the room is to have the competition cancelled when Faction 59 arrives with only 4 participants. Wang would be wrong though when he sees Bufang at the competition and wonders how it could be possible. Participants have their phones taken and are given communication devices. We see that Jinkei is doing his job, but Wang has no clue. Wang must now participate in the competition he has been trying desperately to avoid, and plans to actually do his best after seeing how hard his friends tried to save him. Nearby, Bei uses her ability and explains that she will soon have every bit of information on their opponent's spiritual forces. The students prepare to teleport into the arena, and the disguised Liu Yin vows to finally eliminate Sun-ro. They begin teleporting after the start is announced, and we see that Wang's father desperately rushes to his son. Wang notices that his father is bringing him a replacement amulet, but it's too late. Wang's father speaks with Yi, who is partially aware of Wang's abilities, and explains how the amulet suppressing Wang's spiritual force is breaking. A brief look into the past gives us an explanation for why Wang is so quiet. The amulet attached to his neck suppresses his immense spiritual force, but it also restrains his emotions at the same time. Inside the arena, Bufang is missing, and Bei points out how his spiritual force doesn't match what she has in her records. Tang isn't surprised though, and warns that they need to be careful the next time they see him. Upon tracing the force of the Faction 60 students, Bei discovers that Bufang is near the dog. She isn't able to locate Wang because his force value is nearly 0. Tang determines he must be near the altar of wood since no one else is, and a student named Liang eagerly goes after him. The other student missing is Hago, and we see that he hides nearby. They pretend to not notice, only to attack a moments later, but are surprised to see that it was a fake and he has escaped. Students of Faction 59 separate to find the ones from Faction 60, and Hago laments how he had to already use one of his stand-ins, which cost a fortune. He has determined that Liang is the weakest of the enemy's group and plans to team up against them with Wang. Chen notices that Faction 59 has already begun accumulating points, and rushes to an altar but takes damage from the dangerous terrain. He receives instructions on how to capture the altar but realizes they came from Bei. She claims that the altar is hers, and Chen explains that she can have the first attack. Chen is shocked when she seemingly doesn't attack at all, but realizes that she actually has made the first move. Her ability is the Web of Dimensions. It is able to invade the nervous system and produce false signals to control the body. Miss Z proudly watches her student, and Zhu Kang thinks about the tremendous amounts of pain Chen must be feeling. Elsewhere, Froggy fights the fake Bufang and surprises him with his ability to devour negative energy. Liang arrives at the wood altar and ignores the seemingly dead Wang. He isn't dead though, and wakes up when he hears Froggy's plan to devour negative energy from nearby fights. With enough energy, he will finally be able to break the seal imprisoning him. Liang sees Wang and begins an attack that is stopped by Hago. He is glad to have arrived just in time to save Wang, and begins his fight with Liang. Sun-ro is aware of everything that is happening, but is determined to take control of the water altar. However, Tang attempts a sneak attack and forces her to bring out her sword spirit. He claims that he was only greeting her as his old friend, but she reminds him that they were never really friends. Even if this is true, Tang explains that their families have so much history, but Sun-ro won't allow him to speak about her family. The two are evenly matched, and Sun-ro notices that Faction 59 has gained control of 3 altars. Bufang explains that the dog is taken care of, and Tang asks that he come to the water altar. Chen is soon defeated as well, and Faction 59 takes control of a 4th altar. With no time to lose, Sun-ro prepares for a powerful water attack. Tang knows her well though, and has already thought of a counter to stop it. The students of Faction 59 are well aware of his power, and notice that he is activating his blowing snow ability. Sun-ro doesn't hesitate to attack, hoping to settle the fight before Bufang arrives, but has a difficult time doing so. She doesn't believe Tang when he says that Bufang has arrived, but regrets it when Bufang lands a powerful blow. Sun-ro begins to realize how dire the situation really is. With the water frozen by Tang, she can't use her water abilities to escape, and the fake Bufang moves in for a final attack. Just then, a Faction 59 student flies through the air, and an immense force causes the earth to shake. The devastating pressure from someone's negative energy has allowed Sun-ro to escape, and Tang reveals that he knows this Bufang is an imposter. He doesn't care though. Tang explains that his only goal is to win, and he will help the imposter afterwards if they assist him first. Faction 59 has now seized all 5 altars, earning them a bonus that gains points faster. However, the bonus is taken soon after when it is announced that the altar of wood has been taken by Faction 60. Bai consents that Liang was defeated by something strange, and Sun-ro hears Hago state that Wang and the dog have combined. Concerned for her friend, Sun-ro rushes to the altar of wood, and observers see the strange creature. We are then shown what happened moments earlier. Liang is beginning to understand just how powerful Hago's mouth cannon is, but Hago thinks about how it can't repeat words and he can't keep thinking of new ones. Froggy watches nearby and explains that the harder they fight, the more spiritual force they will leak and the more he will be able to devour. Watching Wang get bullied inspires Hago to think of new phrases and uses them to defend Wang. All the words refer to him as cold-hearted and a loner. Other words include coward, cold-blooded, and even jerk. Wang knows very well that the amulet won't last long, and he must not show his spiritual force or even the slightest bit of emotion. The more Wang restrains himself, the more he is misunderstood. An emotion that Wang has never known grows inside him and is about to break the amulet. It is the feeling of aggravation. Immense power begins to flow from his body, but Froggy arrives to explain that he will devour Wang's negative energy for him. Wang is relieved to hear that he can now use his spiritual force at will, but Froggy becomes frightened since he actually has a limited capacity. It's too late though, and the two of them combine to form a shockingly fierce thing. Liang points out that they are really just a dog combined with a moron, but would quickly learn to fear Wang's new form. The slightest touch, and we find that later Liang would refer to this feeling as being hit by a train. Liang disappears in an instant and we see that he was the one flying through the air. Hago takes credit for insulting Wang into becoming overpowered, and the two seize the altar of wood. Miss Z admires Zukang for teaching his students such an amazing ability and asks to be taught. We learn that Zukang would later attempt to train his dog to combine with him, but ultimately fail. Bai explains how the low force value Wang combined with the dog to create something much more powerful, and reveals that he has already seized the altar of fire next. He heads to the next altar and Bai explains that she is unable to locate Sunro. She must flee though as the new combination approaches and Faction 59 members scramble to retake control of the fire altar. Tang considers ambushing Wang at the altar of water but realizes that puts his team in danger of losing all the altars. Instead, he plans to avoid Wang at all costs, while seizing altars in the process. Chen awakes prepared to fight the girl that beat him up, and Wang seizes the altar. Chen is shocked by Wang's strange fashion choice and becomes excited to hear they will now have control of 3 altars. Chen can barely contain his joy and is even happier to see Wang smile for once. Wang can't understand why he is smiling this way since he never has before, but his father can tell. The fun is short-lived, however, when it is announced that Faction 59 has already retaken control and now has captured 4 altars. Wang instantly realizes what Tang's strategy is and knows that strength alone will not be able to overcome it. Wang powers up even more and Froggy begins to beg him to calm down. Froggy is reaching his limit and if he is broken, the world is done for. Wang wants to capture all the altars though and knows that he can only do this if he becomes faster. Zukang points out that the competition rules were created in a way that will never allow one person to win alone. A 10-second timer before capturing an altar is set up to prevent it. Wang continues preparing anyway, but is interrupted by communication from Sunro. She has grouped up with Hago, who has been running for his life, and breaks up bickering between cowardly teammates. Sunro explains that the goal of the competition isn't to fight, but to strategically seize altars. Faction 59 has the advantage of knowing everyone's location because of Bai's abilities, but they have the immensely powerful Wang on their side. Froggy is surprised to see Wang actually feel shy from receiving a compliment, and Sunro goes over her plan. Faction 59 will avoid Wang at all costs so he can easily hold an altar. The other 3 will have to split up though, since they are behind in points and must control 3 altars to catch up. Chen is chosen as the one to go alone, and Wang now realizes that he will not be the key to success. That honor goes to Chen, who is extremely enthusiastic about it. Sunro states that Faction 59 has placed their strongest member at the most important center altar. She has decided to go with Hago to the altar of fire to defeat the weakest of their members. Faction 59 was not prepared for this maneuver since it means traveling a longer distance, but Sunro used her advantage of moving through water. The kid at the altar of fire is named Zhang, and he is upset to find that Hago was the one that defeated his brother Liang. Tang wants him to focus on the altar, but he is too enraged and Sunro sneaks in to capture the altar. Elsewhere, Wang is all alone as he takes the altar of water, giving his team 2 in total, and Tang finally convinces Zhang to return to his altar. At the center of the map, Fake Bufang thinks about his agreement to help win the competition. He determines that it is finally time to act, and the frantic rush to the altar of fire slows down for a moment. Thanks for watching part 4, 10,000 likes and I'll know you want a part 5.